Jobless, selling nudes online and still struggling. Well, looks like the thought market is beginning to get saturated on OnlyFans. And well, I hate to say it, ladies and guys, it was a long time coming. Savannah Benavides stopped working at her job as a medical biller in June to take care of her 2-year-old son after his daycare shut down. Needing a way to pay her bills, she created an account on OnlyFans, a social media platform where users sell original content to monthly subscribers, and started posting photos of herself nude or in lingerie. So what we have here is a single mother who, rather than try and seek out a partner to live with, who could perhaps bring in a second income or maybe rely on other family and friends to help out in that trying time, although for some reason I don't understand why she chose to leave her job and then look after her kid and go on OnlyFans when she could have just sent her kid to another daycare centre that perhaps did not shut down, that had spaces, or maybe given the kid to her parents or people who are free and have time to look after him. But unfortunately, in the time of COVID, that's probably very difficult, so I do see that. But why did she have to quit her job, which I assume would pay well? Again, I'm sure she could have found some place to look after her kid. Why does she have to quit? It doesn't make sense. Ms. Benavides, 23, has made $64,000 since July, enough not just to take care of her own bills, but to help family and friends with rent and car payments. It's more money than I've ever made in any job, she said. I have more money than I know what to do with. I mean, it's just so easy now for women who are vaguely attractive. They can just go on OnlyFans, post a few sexy pictures, not do any real work, and make thousands. If they're lucky, that is, because of course this article is about those who aren't so successful because they got in too late. Lexi Exenberger was hoping for a similar windfall when she started an OnlyFans account in November. A restaurant worker in Billings, Ms. Exenberger, 22, has been laid off 3 times during the pandemic and was so in need of cash by October that she had to drop out of dental hygiene school. After donating plasma and doing odd jobs, she still didn't have enough to pay her bills. So at the suggestion of some friends, she turned to OnlyFans. She made only about $500 so far. And well, when you look like that, I can see why you only got $500, although I will admit I don't quite understand how Benavides got all that money, because she's nothing special either. I mean, she's got a bit of a, how do I explain it? A Sarah Jessica Parker face. Need I say any more? OnlyFans, founded in 2016 and based in Britain, has boomed in popularity during the pandemic. As of December, it has more than 90 million users and more than 1 million content creators, up from 120,000 in 2019. The company declined to comment for this article. But what can they say? There are winners and there are losers. There are hot, beautiful women, there are the women in the middle, and then the women that aren't beautiful. What can they say? What can anybody say? This is the free market, guys. The more people engage in a certain sector, the more saturated it gets, the less profit there is to go around for those at the bottom, I'm afraid, because the cream always rises to the top.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
This is simple economics, ladies. You need to understand that if you're going to have a successful business, whether that's doing practically nothing, being naked at home, taking pictures of yourself, to running your own businesses that are more legitimate, like, I don't know, a shop. With millions of Americans unemployed, some like Ms. Benavides and Ms. Exenberger are turning to OnlyFans in an attempt to provide for themselves and their families. The pandemic has taken a particularly devastating toll on women and mothers, wiping out parts of the economy where women dominate: retail businesses, restaurants and healthcare. Well, you know, they're considered unessential because the government has deemed them to be so. So unfortunately, it is what it is. If you didn't have these socialist ideas of there are essential workers, there are unessential workers, and that retail and all these other industries that really are the bedrock of most of Western civilization, because we're no longer industrial powerhouses like we once were. We're not industrial economies. Most of us are service-based economies, or if you like, Germany, France, or America, you're kind of more in the middle, whereas in Britain and Italy, we're almost entirely service-based. That's not our fault. Those of us who know a little bit about economics and can say, look, all of this is necessary. The economy is made up of everybody. It's people doing the thing they need to do to keep the gears grinding. And Besides, it's always the women that have to suffer the worst, isn't it? A lot of people are migrating to OnlyFans out of desperation, said Angela Jones, an associate professor of sociology at the State University of New York at Farmingdale. These are people who are worried about eating, they're worried about keeping the lights on, they're worried about not being evicted. Yet they're a minority of the people who turn to OnlyFans. I'm afraid I don't mind it, I don't care, they can do whatever they want with their bodies because their bodies are their property. But for every person like Ms. Benavides who is able to use OnlyFans as her primary source of income, there are dozens more like Miss Exenberger who hope for a windfall and end up with little more than a few $100s and worries that the photos will hinder their ability to get a job in the future. Well, she should have thought about that before she went on OnlyFans, and especially shouldn't have been so egotistic to assume that men would just flock to her when all you have to do is look at her and think, yeah, you're not going to get many simps, mate, you're not going to get many pay pigs. She should have thought about that. This is her own fault. She made her own choices. I'm sorry, but OnlyFans and men cannot redistribute the profits that thots make to make all thots equal. I'm afraid that's just not how the world works. It is already an incredibly saturated market, Miss Jones said of explicit content online. The idea that people are just going to open up an OnlyFans account and start raking in the dough, really misguided. Again, it depends how hot they are. The most successful content creators are often models, porn stars and celebrities who already have large social media followings. They can use their online platforms to drive followers to their OnlyFans accounts, where they offer exclusive content to those willing to pay a monthly fee, even personalised content in exchange for tips. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut of any pay. Some creators receive tips through mobile payment apps, which aren't subject to that cut. Ms. Benavides earns most of her money this way. What is the common denominator, apart from them perhaps already being popular? They tend to be extremely attractive. I would wager that OnlyFans is slowly destroying the pornography industry, in fact more so than the internet did, because at the very least the industry adapted to the internet eventually. But OnlyFans is completely undercutting these business women because it's actually run almost entirely by women. Isn't that ironic? And basically these models can go direct to the customer as opposed to going through a studio and having to go through all the rigmarole of that. Isn't that interesting? But no, they're not talking about that, about all the potential job losses in that industry. No, we're talking about people who aren't very attractive, who probably aren't very good at what they're doing on OnlyFans anyway, struggling to be successful and famous because they thought it'd be easy money and that men would just flock to them. Really, it should be an eye-opener for these ladies, but apparently not. But many of the creators who have joined the platform out of dire financial need do not have large social media followings or any way to drum up consistent business. Well, it's called work, it's called providing a good service, about making good content, and again, as I said before, the cream will rise. If you're good, you will make it. On OnlyFans, I have seen this. It's not just all celebrities and models who are at the top. In fact, they weren't even the first ones to use it that became famous. It was people that you would never have heard of. They only started going to OnlyFans later on in the last 2 to 3 years because they realised how successful these nobodies were being just using this platform. That's only a recent phenomenon. Ellie Morocco of West Palm Beach was laid off from her job as an office manager in July. Her unemployment checks don't cover her $1,600 monthly rent, utility bills, food costs, so she joined OnlyFans in November. But Miss Morocco had no social media presence to speak of when she joined the platform and has had to gain subscribers one by posting pictures of herself on Instagram and Twitter, following up with people who like and comment on her posts, encouraging each one to subscribe to OnlyFans. It's more challenging and time consuming than she expected and less financially rewarding. Again, this is like making a YouTube channel. This is like, I don't know, being a band and paying your dues, going out on tour and playing dingy clubs to about 15 people a night. This is what you have to do. It is a grind. Even when they're basically not doing anything, because, you know, they're not truck drivers or anything like that who do have to work properly, you still have to put in some effort. This says more about them than it does about OnlyFans or the men who, and women really, who use it. Yeah, welcome to the free market where you have to work to get profit. It's a full-time job on top of your full-time job looking for work, she said. Fans want to see you posting daily. You're always churning. You're always taking pictures to post. She has made just $250 on the platform so far, despite sometimes spending upward of 8 hours a day curating, posting and promoting her content. I'd love to see what she looks like. I'm sure she's definitely a looker and is just being unlucky. If you're looking for a 9 to 5, they might not hire you if they find out you have an OnlyFans, she said. They may not want you if they know you're a sex worker. Yeah, because it looks bad on them. Digital sex work can give the illusion of safety and privacy. Content creators can get paid without having to interact with clients in person, but that doesn't mean there aren't risks. Online sex work is a much more appealing alternative to many people than going on the streets or selling direct sexual services, said Barb Brents, a professor of sociology at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. That said, anybody getting into this kind of work needs to be aware that there are dangers. But the thing is, right, these people aren't really sex workers. Some of them are having sex on camera and things like that, but most of them are just posting nudes online. That's not sex. That's nude modelling. Is Melania Trump a sex worker or former sex worker for doing nude modelling once upon a time in her career? No. Most of these people aren't even doing that. Last April, a mechanic in Indiana lost her job at a Honda dealership after management learned she had an OnlyFans account. Creators can be the target of doxing, a form of online harassment in which users publish private or sensitive information about someone without permission. See, why is a mechanic using OnlyFans? Like, mechanics earn loads of money. She wouldn't need that. I can only imagine she's doing that out of some other motive rather than just, oh, I'm struggling to make money and pay my rent. Yeah, there's something else going on there. In December, the New York Post published an article about a New York City medic who was using OnlyFans to supplement her income. The medic believed that the article published without her consent would damage her reputation and get her fired from her job. Well, again, sex work, whether you're a man or a woman, has always come with baggage and the stigma because, well, it looks untoward. It's not something companies want to be associated with because customers and clientele think it's icky that somebody like that is serving them. I don't think that stigma is going to be removed anytime soon because they have a certain mindset about what a type of person would do this kind of thing. I hate to say it. Creators can also be subject to capping, a practice in which users take unauthorized screenshots or recordings and then share them elsewhere on the internet. OnlyFans creators have also received death and rape threats on social media. Everybody gets death and rape threats online. It's about how you deal with it. And as for capping, yeah, you're always going to have leaks. You're always going to have people pirate your work. There's nothing they can do about that. That's the internet again. That's what nearly ended the porn industry in the first place. OnlyFans content creators can face not just professional consequences, but personal ones too. Miss Exenberger has been keeping her account secret from her father, but knows he will find out now that she's gone public. I don't want to be shamed or disowned, she said. So why did you come out publicly and say it if you don't want to be shamed or disowned? That's your fault. Others say the experience has been empowering. Melanie Hall, a single mother of 3, earns $13.30 an hour as a paramedic in Northern Ohio, barely enough to cover her bills. She started an OnlyFans account in December. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I never thought anyone would pay to see me naked, said Miss Hall 27. It's been a confidence boost. She has made about $700 so far. Not enough to change her life, but enough to make the holidays special. There's a pattern emerging with all these women, but I just can't put my finger on it. This is the first year I didn't have to choose between the electric bill and then Christmas presents for my kids. This is the first year I've been able to do it all by myself. She's working above minimum wage anyway as a medic. I mean, isn't the minimum wage $12 an hour currently in America? And she's struggling to pay her bills and rent? What do I know? I'm just a guy in his room making videos. I don't have kids. I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. All I have to worry about is rent. But I don't have to go on OnlyFans and things like that to supplement my income. But again, I'm not the kind of person who would do such a thing. But I don't understand the complaints. I don't understand this attitude of, I expect immediately all these paid pigs and simps and men to just throw money at me because I'm a woman. And, men like women. Men just think about sex constantly, don't they? You would assume that they will just pay for me, pay my rent. I'm sorry, but it doesn't work like that. 1, men have taste. Not all men watch OnlyFans or look at photos on there. 3, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're desirable. I hate to say it. I don't see how OnlyFans can be the only method to get through this current pandemic. It is one method of many, but it's not the only one. Why do they have to go to this? There's something about them that's making them do this in the first place. When you have the cheek to say, I don't want to be disowned, I don't want to be shamed, and then come out publicly and show your face in one of the biggest newspapers on the planet, that's your fault. But of course, these people don't want any of the responsibility. They don't want to deal with any of the consequences of their actions because, well, they're modern women. A lot of modern women are like, they want to have their cake and eat it too. And now that the market is saturated because there's now 1 million people using the platform to post content on there. By the way, not all of them nude models or doing pornographic material. People like British Knight, for example. My boy, he uses OnlyFans, but all he does is post his videos on there. OnlyFans is not actually a pornographic website. Not only are they competing with people who do the same type of content, they're also competing with people who do different things, who offer different services. And they just don't get that, do they? They just expect things to be given to them. Well, I'm sorry, but there's not going to be any kind of equitable distribution of men's money to you, I'm afraid, Miss Exenberger. You're probably going to be stuck making a little bit of money on OnlyFans while you do this. Or you could simply learn to code. But anyway, that's the end of the video. What more can I say? So until next time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you all later.